Hey, JP here with commercials at the edge of space. JP Aerospace has always been an unconventional space program. Okay, I can even hear your eye rolls all the way over here. You don't say? Well, one of the big differences is how we fund it. Instead of investor dollars, we've always went after customer dollars. In our first 20 years, we did grants and Defense Department contracts. This way, we were our own boss. I always felt that this would let us keep the organization focused. It lets us stay on track for the research. We could take jobs that were related to our program and stay away from the things that we could do, but would take us away from our core project. How has it worked? Well, we never got that $100 million investment. But after 4 decades, we're still here. We had been doing documentaries like National Geographic and Discovery Channel for a few years. Most were not paid gigs, but most of the time they covered the costs, and we got to improve our vehicles and keep flying. One day, we got a call from a TV production house that was working for Toshiba. They thought a chair floating in space would sell big screen TVs. Okay, that sounded a little over the top to me. But hey, who am I to turn down a gig? Well, we flew it, and you know what? They sold a boatload of TVs. Lesson? Don't second guess the marketing people. That was 14 years ago. Now we've done dozens of commercials at the edge of space and countless marketing pieces. It's let us keep the Airship to Orbit program going, and it's been a lot of fun. So, in no particular order, here are some of our best commercial works. Pillows in space! Warning, the following images contain dangerously high levels of cuteness. Exercise caution if you are allergic to Smurfs or puppy pictures. The Pillow mission was both a commercial for sleepbetter.org and a series of flights for the PongSat STEM program. This mission was big in every way. We flew 5 balloons that carried 1,400 student payloads built by 3,000 students to fly to the edge of space for an incredible STEM experience that they were able to watch live from their classroom. Sleepbetter.org got great imagery and thousands of students got to participate, and the pillows were all recovered safe and sound.
Go, 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 go. Ready?
The Margarita. Did you know that Margaritaville was right over your head this whole time? This was a 3-flight mission we flew for Jose Cuervo's on National Margarita Day. The trick on this flight was to have the margarita freeze right as the sky turned black. We pulled it off twice, more out of luck than anything else. We flew 3 balloons, 2 carrying margaritas, and 1 just carrying extra cameras for B-roll. Yes, that's a rubber chicken. You know you've completely embraced the concept of commercial space when you're being paid to fly a rubber chicken. This was a fun flight for Twisties Snack Foods out of Malaysia. There were 2 flights flown about a year apart. The first flight was a camera looking at their snack bags. The company later held a contest and the winners got to send something for us to fly. We had a whole vehicle covered with cool things like Lego figures, a water freezing experiment, little flapping solar panel wings, and yes, a rubber chicken. Slot machine at 100,000 feet. Sabono Casino in Southern California wanted to do something special for their 21st anniversary. Why not fly a slot machine to the edge of space? You don't see that on the International Space Station. Now, real slot machines are a bit heavy, so we flew a little one from the gift shop instead. It ended up less a commercial and more of this epic movie. They used the footage to create this great spoof documentary. It's a lot of fun, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. While you're here, can you do me a solid and click that subscribe button below? It really helps us out, and then you can follow along with us on our journey to space. Guys and dolls. A pair of Japanese comedians with a travel show wanted to do their show from space. The bazillion-dollar space tourism cost was a bit out of their budget, so they did the next best thing. They called us. We flew custom-crafted dolls that looked like them to 100,000 feet. This mission was a blast. Not only did we fly the dolls, but the duo came out for the mission and filmed the entire show around it. We even inflated a balloon right over their heads and popped it, just so they could get the full experience.
Ready? Go!
chair. The Toshiba chair mission was our first experience with a really big production. Along with our team, the TV crew brought out producers, a director, multiple camera teams, sound guys, and even more. We flew 4 chairs over 2 days. The highest chair reached 110,000 feet. They all landed by parachute about 10 miles from the launch site. I made a whole making of video about this one. There's a link to that video in the description. E.T. Phone Home. The Galaxy 2 phone project was the most technologically challenging commercial we've ever done. During the flight, thousands of images were sent to us from people at a live event in Tokyo. The images were bounced by satellite to us in the desert. We would then send them up to the balloon platform. There, the platform would then Bluetooth it over to the phone that was being held by a little plastic astronaut. An onboard video camera captured the whole scene. The balloon sent the live stream down to our mission control van in the desert. Then we sent it back up to the satellite, and then back down to the stadium in Tokyo, and then up onto the Jumbotron. Every 3 seconds there was a new image, all live and coordinated with the band that was on stage. We kept this up for hours. We'd switch from one balloon to the next as they reached the highest altitude for the best view. Here's the telemetry infograph of the project. Between the development and the event itself, there were 17 balloon flights. Near the end, the high winds picked up in the desert to over 40 knots. That kind of shuts everything down. But that was okay because we had flown the last one. Then the customer asked if we could try one more. We thought about it and said, what the heck? The team put together an additional balloon platform made from all the backup parts. And at the cost of 3 broken ribs, we got it into the air in 40 knot plus winds, our highest wind balloon launch ever. And as for the ribs, it's my own fault. After a running launch, I tripped and totally face planted. the edge of space in the Middle East. Most of the time we fly from Nevada, but we've flown from Oklahoma, Arizona, Texas, and even Mexico. For this project, we traveled to the Middle East to fly from the United Arab Emirates, the UAE. The UAE was celebrating its 50th anniversary. Our mission was to carry a jumbo-sized UAE flag and take a picture of it with their country in the background from the edge of space. The flight itself was pretty straightforward. The real challenge was all the logistics and airspace issues. This flight gave me a truly incredible moment. We launched in the morning, but it was well after dark when we got to the recovery area. We drove through huge sand dunes and got as close as we could. The last miles were to be on foot. 5 of the team stayed with the vehicles, and then 5 of us headed out across the sand. After the first hour, I was really slowing down my much younger team members, and I sent them on ahead, and I would catch up with them at the landing site. A moment later, they were gone, and I started trudging up the next dune, following in their steps. I came to the top of a massive dune, and suddenly the whole desert just opened around me. The only light was the incredibly bright stars dropping all the way to the horizon in every direction, and the world was utterly silent. I don't know how long I just stood there taking it all in. It's a moment that I will always remember. Sometimes being slow has its advantages. The sphere. About 8 years ago, it was the heyday of companies trying to build space planes for space tourism. Royal Dutch Airlines, KLM, wanted to give away a ticket for a ride to space on one of those vehicles. And in fact, they wanted the ticket itself to ride to space. Unfortunately, none of the space planes were actually flying. We were the closest they could get. They designed a sphere to hold the ticket, and then we built 2 of them and flew them to 100,000 feet. Sadly, that particular spaceplane company went out of business, but at least the tickets got a spectacular ride and KLM got some great publicity. The top is the concept art from KLM. The bottom is what we delivered.
Yep. Okay. Mission control, go. Yes. JP, go. Okay, Paul, you ready? Yes, we're ready. You ready? Paul, vehicle's yours. All right. Ready? Go! Launch. Away! Woo!
We've also done still image promotions, lots of happy birthdays, and even a dozen marriage proposals. Here are a few. had a great run with the commercials and promotions. Right now, a lot of projects are shut down with COVID, but they'll come back and we'll be still here. After all, nothing makes a better background than the entire Earth, and there's always more rubber chickens. Thank you for watching.